Welcome back, and let's get into it. On Tuesday, I was delighted to play host to Wilson Uche, the convener at the aviation meet, and we looked at issues around the federal government's $13 million Boeing simulator, which has been declared inactive and remains uncertified 4 years after its acquisition. Quickly, let's just take a look at excerpts from that particular session.
It can actually serve as a source for foreign exchange, because you would see a situation whereby pilots would also come to Nigeria to train, thereby earning foreign exchange for us. Having said that, I would put all the whole blame on institutional failure. Institutional failure, this is like several other things we see in Nigeria, whereby there is good intention, but continuity, especially within the institutions that handle such projects. We need to come to the point where we no longer do things because we are at the helm of affairs at the point in time. We need to begin to see future in what we do. And when your tenure expires, you are not going to be there in perpetuity. You are going to live there someday, sometime. So there must be an arrangement. There must be a way you will be able to organize what you are doing, whatever vision you present, to be able to continue even after your tenure. There are other countries who are already talking about bigger and higher simulators. And you can imagine if we are not able to, for 4 years, put into use such huge investment. You can imagine when bigger simulators we are supposed to acquire. By now, we should be talking about bigger simulators, not talking about going back and forth. A situation whereby we begin to draw interest, especially within the aviation industry, bringing them down the Southeast. Earlier on in my address, during that meet, I said that it looks as if there's less interest of aviation facilities being brought towards the Southeast.
True.
At least that in the Southeast, we really don't have a well-established aviation academy, well-established aviation college. So we are looking forward to that, and we are also appealing to the government, not just the federal government, but the government of the 5 Southeastern states to also begin to look in that direction. We also look forward to a situation whereby there is a concerted effort to ensure that the aviation industry within the Southeast is giving a very good attention.
That's what happened on Tuesday, and quite frankly, I couldn't agree any more and less with him. He says something that's very emphatic, the fact that the Southeast is not so blessed with this kind of facilities, and hopefully government will begin to look this way. Not just government at the center, the government of the 5 eastern states begin to see, can we set up something similar to what is in the north? I'm talking about a pilot, that kind of simulator here in the Southeast. What will it take us, really? I just think it's a function of willpower, really. That's it. Because that way, we'll be, creating revenue for the Southeastern states. Because when someone comes, because we have people who want to train to be pilots. I mean, all the aircrafts we have in the country are being flown by exactly pilots and all of that. And people can just want to learn how to, navigate planes, especially if they, have private aircraft, etc., and all of that. But then it's something that we could actually look into and see if we would make it happen in this part of the world. Anyway, moving on Wednesday, I played host to Emmanuel Chime, Citizen Public Affairs Analyst, and we took out the time to look at issues around Nigeria's tax bills. The fact that nothing governors and senators are mobilizing against Tinubu. And guess what? He was of the opinion that they are doing this mobilization because they have not really been paying the taxes in the first instance. So this is more like forcing them to pay tax that they were never paying. But then, don't take my word for it. Let's see excerpts from that session real quickly.
Talking about fixing fixing someone's personal residence with 5 billion naira. That 5 billion naira, if you take it to our power sector, is going to give us at least 2.4 megawatts of electricity. And you know what that means to Nigeria and to our businesses. So that's why when we are talking about tax this, tax that, then you begin to ask, why or what even brought about all this now? Now you begin to ask, are Nigerians eligible to be taxed in this manner? Now what the federal government is trying to do now is to put hands in places where whether they have the eligibility or not, they want to go and get money from there. Now what they are talking about, the FIRS rightly said that what they are trying to do is to make a digital, that is just to have a common package whereby you pay, you don't have double taxations, this, that. But that double taxation, the state is looking at it in a way whereby that is who want to cut off their own hands from generating taxes. Then the other way around, just like the barrister rightly said on Saturday from the video we just watched, it is an existential fact. Ubong in the north, what we pass through here is not there in the north. Ubong, here we pay taxes on the beverages that we consume, our beer that we consume. Ubong up there, if you take our beer to there, their Hizba will gather them, destroy them, right? Then they say it is prohibited up there, alcoholic. Now down here, we that are drinking it down here, we consume, we pay taxes on it. Then the taxes are gathered and forwarded to North through Northeast Development Commission. All right, that is now being used to fix their place. Then if you talk about those that are paying tax, the South is paying tax, the North is receiving the money that are being generated from the tax. Now the monies are no longer coming from the oil wherewith if it comes then everybody will share, go back to your state and begin to enjoy. Then what is now happening is that everybody should start bringing money to the central coffers. Now the North, we are not prepared for this. That's exactly what we are saying. The North, we are not prepared for it. Then the North are now kicking against it. We can't pay. The North is not developed to Obong. I'm talking about when it comes to intellectual capacities. I'm talking about when it comes to businesses. Oh, they are not that exposed. And they are not used to paying taxes. Oh, if you go to their banks, they don't speak English. You speak their dialect. If you go to their markets, they don't speak English, you speak their dialect. If you don't know how to speak their dialect, it's your own business. But the other way around, Obong, for Nigerians to begin to pay certain ratios of taxes this time around, is it good? The answer is no. Reason. Now you begin to ask, why is it that most of the multinational companies are leaving Nigeria in droves? It's because the economy is no longer conducive for them. Then not just that, then they are being taxed. They are being demanded to pay this, pay that. Go and check Cameroon down here. Cameroon is passing through some phases of economic crunch, just like some other parts of the world is passing through. But meanwhile, inflation is natural. Inflation is being projected. But meanwhile, you can be talking about some close margins when you talk about inflation figures. But in our own, it is galloping. Our own is not natural inflation. Our own is being caused by corruption.
The horse's mouth is clear, crystal as day. You just heard from the man, Emmanuel Chime, tell us exactly how he feels about this particular issue. But then again, you may want to be part of the conversation. Go to our dedicated Afia Business YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/@AfiaBusiness, to drop off a comment or two. And by the way, we are live at the moment right there. You may want to go there, drop a comment or two, and do us the honors also of subscribing so you get notifications on all business-related content coming to you from Afia TV. And also, you can join us on socials, on Instagram with the handle @AfiaBusiness_. Take a short break. When we return, we'll be looking at what happened on Thursday and on Friday on the segment, the Eastern Business Report of the Afia Business Morning. Stay tuned. I'll be back after now. have you rejoined us? Yes, indeed, we have been taking a look at conversations we have had in the past week, and interestingly, we saw what happened on Tuesday, what happened on Wednesday. Now we're moving on to Thursday, where I played host to engineer Major Charles Chukwukadibia, who is a Southeast representative of Autogas Nigeria Limited, and we look at the issue of insufficient filling stations slowing down the federal government CNG project, and the fact that it appears that the southeastern part of Nigeria has not yet positioned itself adequately to tap into this reality. Anyway, let's see excerpts from that session real quick.
You know, when the federal government said they would be building metro stations across the country, we didn't expect it to be like a flash. It was going to be a process, because even before getting a motor station in a state, a data station, there has to be a mother station to make it effective, because these data stations are being powered, are being fueled from the mother stations themselves. And I think what the federal government meant and what they've been doing so far is kind of they've been designed such a way that they accommodate a private sector partnership when it comes to these modern data filling stations. The raw materials are here, the gas is available within the country, the mother stations are available here, can source this from. So we need private sectors to come in, set these things up. I blame it primarily on a lack of awareness. And I would say lack of awareness, because in the Southeast we don't seem to be able to be tapping into some various opportunities. And I think the state government as well too would have to step into it and creating awareness. You know, there are a lot of challenges going from safety to a whole lot within the Southeast. But you know, I think the state government should start. Like now, as I'm talking about the mother stations in Enugu State, the awareness is not even there. Most people in the state don't know what it is about. Yes. The state government is already doing something about that, about having a data station within the state. Some people in Enugu State doesn't even know we still have a data station existing already, which someone has invested already in Enugu State. So there should be a sensitization, and when the sensitizations are out there, the benefits are being exposed to the citizens as well too. You know, one of the benefits that when it comes to CNG, that one of the CNG friendly policies the federal government has been able to make when it comes to CNG has been in the area of importation of these conversion kits. And this is something that down here within the Southeastern region, we aren't aware of this. There was a policy that once you're importing, once you're involved in importation on anything related to CNG or gas conversion, there are a lot of incentives, tax-free, custom duty-free, and a whole lot of things, just to encourage people. So you don't have to battle with basically your product and the transportation. You understand? Though you have to go through some documentations for that to be possible. But these are things that are done to encourage people to invest in this area, to get these kits available within the state. And unfortunately, we didn't tap into it, and we're not tapping into it. But others within these other regions tap into it. So right now, for we that are within the Southeast here that are into these conversions, we need to go to Lagos and be able to source for this conversion kits itself. When we have businessmen that are capable, more than capable, of getting this into this region, just that they don't know and the awareness is not there.
The awareness is not there. Hopefully it changes real soon. And then finally on Friday, I played host to Marcus Ijama, who happened to be the marketing consultant for the Abai International Trade Fair and Summit, and we took a look at the 2024 Abai International Trade Fair, the prospects, the opportunities therein. Let's see excerpts from that session real quick.
At the risk of sounding like a government official, I'm not a government official. I am just a citizen of Abia State who is impressed with the current activity of the current government. I am not a praise singer. I am here to promote Abai International Trade Fair. But to answer your question, sir, it will interest you to know that the governor, as we speak, has a special advisor, assistant, on the ease of doing business.
Interesting.
It's an office.
It's an office also.
Yes. So if you find it difficult doing business in Abia State, there is an office for the ease of doing business. In the cabinet, you have advisor on trade and commerce. And then you also have a commissioner for trade and commerce. And then you have an advisor on investment. So if you look at the personal disposition of the governor, you can now begin to think that because it's coming from the private sector, he wants to close in all ends. So somebody is liaising with diaspora to bring in the investment, and then there are other people on ground to attract local investors. And then you have, from the lighter note that you shared about if you bend down, you see about, there is also an agency called the Abia State Orientation Agency, that has never been that viable as they are today, trying to change this negative narrative about Aba. We buy a lot of fake stuff from Asia, but we still go back to China to buy. We go back to Vietnam and all the other places where labor is cheap to buy. But you see, in Aba, labor is cheap. But what this trade fair is going to have an economic summit by the side. What the government wants to focus on is standardization, because we're going to be meeting with traders, market union and associations at the summit, not just the buying and the selling alone. They will tell government what they want. The government will also tell them their plans. So it's a win-win for everyone, but the focus is change the narrative. Majority of artisans and the like, sometimes the experience with them is not the best it should be, and they really don't care. But we, at this point, want to use this event to tell them that this thing you are doing is going to affect all of us in the long run. It's going to affect you, it's affecting the revenue of the states, it's affecting your personal revenue, because if my experience with you is not good, I won't come back.
And you'll not tell anybody.
Yes, I will refer you. Exactly. And there is power in referral. Right. Referrals are more powerful than your complimentary cards. They are more powerful than any kind of marketing you want to do. So about traders, about manufacturers, artisans, everyone who is a stakeholder must begin to accept this new idea. So we are making inroad. This is the first international trade fair after a long time. So you expect that first resistance. Oh, are they sure? Will they do it well? We've heard this kind of thing before. Oh, now the government is involved. Are you sure? Are you sure? So if you are not sure, please be sure. We are going to make it happen, and it's going to be big. And even if they don't accept it this year because they are doubting, for the few people who are doubting the capacity of the states and the Aba Chamber of Commerce to have these events put together, by the time, I'm sure they will come and peep. I'm sure they will come and window shop to see whether they can find something negative to say. But majority of the people are on board, and we are happy with the response.
Then Igbo, also Afia. Then in English, Aprikuma.